The government of the United Kingdom has pledged its willingness to continually assist Nigeria in fighting insecurity. Ambassador Richard Montgomery, British High Commissioner to Nigeria, said this when he featured on Forum, a flagship program of the News Agency of Nigeria, NAN. The High Commissioner also said the government was in collaboration with the Nigerian government on the multinational joint task force.
We have very long-standing defence engagement, and many of our officer corps and our high commands, they are organised on similar principles. So I think the UK armed services and the Nigerian armed services really understand each other. And since the creation of Nigeria, we've had very warm defence relations, and in the last 2-3 decades, we're really conscious that Nigeria has been one of the biggest contributors to peacekeeping forces, to the role of ECOWAS as well as the AU. And Nigeria's armed forces has played a really important role in stabilising other countries in the region when the international community has asked it to help. We have tried to provide support where possible into that multi-national joint task force trying to stabilise the Lake Chad Basin. So that's the main ongoing effort. I think in relation to the bilateral defence engagement, at the moment, you'll be aware we have a British military advisory and training team well established in this country for decades. It has always tried to evolve its relationship with the Nigerian armed forces depending on what the priorities are. And I think we've got two levels of defence collaboration. There's a strategic level and there's a practical level. So at the strategic level, there is a security and defence partnership. I think it was signed in 2020. The memorandum of understanding of that is on our website, www.gov.uk. If you just Google Nigeria Security and Defence, you'll get the MOU. And that explains some of the areas where we have been sharing lessons, sharing information, and where appropriate, there have been exchanges of personnel or information or training. And this is quite a broad umbrella that provides the remit for our various agencies to work together. And it's not just the armed forces, it's also serious crime agencies, it's also civilian parts of the architecture. So then in the UK, the National Security Office is a civilian. It may have officers posted in, but so the Office of National Security Advisor in both our countries tries to liaise. So this Security and Defence Partnership, the SDP, you can look at the content. It's a strategic umbrella. It lists the areas where we are collaborating. And then at the practical level, and I think this is really important because it's the foundation of, is it valuable? The practical level includes things like sending British trainers to spend time with Nigerian army before they're posted to the northeast on issues like how do you deal with an improvised explosive device. And we have a lot of very unfortunate experience from Afghanistan and Iraq where we faced campaigns of improvised explosive device. And this type of training about how to identify an IED, how to approach it, how to deal with it, saves many infantry people's lives. And that's an example of a practical bit of training that just by sending down a few people to spend time with a platoon or a company and explain our experience, we hope that's helpful. We have experience to share on how you shape the relationships between armed forces and civilian governments, what we call civ-mil relations, civilian-military relationships. We have lessons to share on what you call intelligence-led operations, which I know the Nigerian police and the Nigerian army are doing, but we have lessons to share. This is when you make sure that military operations within civilian areas are carefully planned and shaped by the information you have so that you're less likely to affect negatively the civilian population.